Yeah, each one. Just sonke, langa linda bandama. Education is key to success. We have 12 of them. Yeah, each one. Have to teach one. Must bomb the someone. We have 12. Each one. Got to teach one. Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
Hey, you okay?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. Dumelang, welcome to Each One Teach One. Nna ke nna Pula wa Hamatsaong. Ho ipolaya a se hona ho bolayang. Kgatello ya maikutlo le ho nyahama ke tsona dintho tse bolayang. And hape ho ipolaya ha se o fedisa bohloko, empa ko fedisa kgonahalo ya hore o ka fola. 1 in 4 university students ba na le depression, whereas 20% ya di 18-year-olds ba lekile ho ipolaya. Ka jeno re tlo kopana le Monalisa ya tsekisanang le taba ya hore le yena o batlile a ipolaya ka morao ha hore a nkuwe ke maikutlo a ho lahlahelwa ke mme wa hae le yona depression.
I am Monalisa Kefile, and if you only body ibali, loba ulahlekelwa ngumuntu can cause you great depression and also lead you to feeling like suicide is the only answer. This is the story of my life. Come in. I was born in Eastern Cape, but then when I was 4 or 5, we moved to Joburg. So we do in between Mthatha, Umakhulu, and here in Joburg with my mom. My dad was Swelega in 2003. He was hospitalized for like a little while, then he passed away. Obviously my mom's a single mom, so obviously like things are okay, but like it could be better. She did her best. And then when it was November the 21st, at like 4 a.m, Nona comes into the room, my older sister. So at this point, like, I'm literally just like sleeping. And I can't date him, I'm like, wake up, something's happening. I get into the room and then she had like, out of nowhere, just collapsed. She was still conscious, but the clot, now that we know, had blocked whatever side of her brain, so her left side was not working. So anyway, and then when she realized she actually couldn't get up, so that's when she fell, because half her body wasn't working. Then got her to be rushed to the hospital, public hospital, of course. They just put on a drip. On the Thursday morning, woke up, because we're supposed to then visit her. That's when my grandmother got the SMS that she had passed on. All of it gone, just like that. After, I think, because we and we just have to see her body. It was like a plastic bag. And then there she was. She looked like she was sleeping. She literally looked like she was sleeping. Like I was definitely just like, these people are playing games. Like this lady just needs to wake up, score to get. Like I don't have time for what she's doing right now. And I remember just like standing over her, and I think that was maybe just the part that was like, okay, this might be real. And I remember just like crying, and I remember just saying like, you can't leave us. Like, what are we supposed to do now? Like, what must happen now if you're going to leave us? So I've always been one who believes in God. You know, I'm a Christian, I try. So I remember just saying, at this point, God, I have nothing much to lose. Like, I'd rather you take me instead of her, because my siblings won't survive this, my family won't survive this, I personally won't survive this. So I'd much rather just die now. Like, she has children, she has a family, she has friends. Like, I could die now, nobody, like, they'll bury me, like, they'll be fine. Was when I got on the Thursday, I think so I tried reaching out to the SRC to get like, how can I get assistance, like what happens. I went to like VITS, like the actual main campus. Send emails, nothing, no responses. At this point, I'm very frustrated, and everywhere I go, I have to keep repeating the same story, like what happened.
In campus is that we do have a CCDU facility, but in working hours from 8 until 4. Now our issue is that with depression and anxiety, it doesn't say ndilapha ngoku. It doesn't call you and consult and say, listen, at this time I'm scheduling a breakdown, a mental breakdown, so be ready for it. You know what I mean? So it would be great if we had the resources to have a 24-hour facility, because you'll find that sometimes umuntu uvela kokwabo emthatha akanazihlobo eGauteng, ufika apha ustranded uhleli yedwa at maybe an off-campus accommodation, so akho house committee structure to be there to help them and integrate them into a space sase-vets. You'll find that umuntu uzibona engenancedo, right? And the facility operates between 8 and 4.
I can't even tell you about my second year, if I'm being honest, because it was like literally just like all a blur, all of it. It was just, I just remember like having a few breakdowns, like every now and then I'd just like be like, no, I can't do this, like I don't want to do this. But it was still, you know, just like, but okay, now I'm over it, but then we end up like, okay, fine, it's fine. It all crumbled, I think 2018. At this point, it got to a point where it started slowly, and I didn't pick it up. And then I just got to a point where Zan goes like 5 days, like at all. It's like not wake up, not want to go anywhere, not want to do anything, I love food. Like I wouldn't even want to eat. And then it just like, it started very slowly, where I just sit and I'd be thinking, right? Then I'd be like, okay, whatever. And then I'd be like, you know, just imagine like life, what life would look like without me. And then it started making sense, and I was like, actually, as no man gafa, like I can't do things, like I come to Tasba, anamdana, anajanakati, like bazaukala, and then everybody's just gonna get over with their lives, like it's all gonna be okay. And then we got to this day where I remember I said to my friend, and I was just like, so I'd always Google stuff. So I lived in a 14-story building, like, and I was on the 6th floor. I made it seem like a very casual thing when I was Googling like ways, right? So I started off Google because I think I was Googling symptoms. So I'm always just like Googling random stuff. And I was actually just like Googling like ways to get on suicide. And actually shout out to Google, because when you Google that stuff, the first thing that pops up is a helpline. And then got to this day where I literally just went to the 14th floor and I just like, I'm quite short. So I had to take like this little dustbin thingy and I climbed on top of it and then I stood there. And that was when, my friend then came, like, so I think she picked up on my behavior. And then she came, and Ash was trying to talk me down. And I was literally just like, not even. Like, I was like, like, I'm at wit's end. You don't know how I feel every day. Don't come tell me about there's no better anything. I'm done. Some guy from nowhere, I swear to God, I don't even know where that man came from. One tatang, one full, and then I was then admitted into a keso. One figure, okay, so that's I think into that, right? That's when I met up with my psychiatrist, and she was like, no, you are like severely depressed, right? And so I started she put me on medication, my antidepressants. Now, it was also the issue of the side effects of the pills, right? So a lot of people will speak on antidepressants, but nobody ever like really tells you and goes into detail about the side effects of the pills. And also that when the side effects do start, doesn't mean you should stop. After 3 weeks, I really did, get better. But the deal was, I was supposed to take my meds and I was supposed to attend therapy. I obviously did not attend therapy because I always had excuses. Busy, like I'd be busy with everything and anything when I had like to go to therapy. That's what led up to the second attempt. At this point, I just took all my pills and I drank them. And then I was found like unconscious in my room. I was taken to a hospital, and then afterwards they were like, no sis, back to a keso. And I remember thinking to myself, they don't get it now. But I know, I thought of the long term. So in my head, I thought I had this figured out. In the long term, even my family will find rest, because I am no good if I'm going to be the person that I have become because of this depression. So it's gonna work out for everyone. In my head, it was a win-win for everyone. I was just gonna find peace and everyone was gonna get peace, and yeah.
Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
Ho kula ha kelello ho ama mang le mang. World Health Organization e re half ya di-mental illness e qala batho ba nang le dilemo di le 14. Most ya tsona it goes undetected kapa ha e alafwe. Ho di-adolescent kgatello ya maikutlo e mo karolong ya boraro ntho e etsang gore ba kgone go ipolaya. Ka 2018 re bone di-report tsa bana ba university ba ile gore ba ipolaile hobane ba sa kgone go tobana le boima.
What could make you relapse is that, and we're not told, depression, I always say this, depression is like cancer. You treat it, you learn how to live with it, but it never fully goes away. And when it comes back, it doesn't always come back in the same form. So you could have lung cancer, and then you have whatever stomach cancer, you're going through all of that. What caused me to relapse, I think, was that I didn't understand what my depression looked like at that point. So with depression, your depression, my depression will not look the same. The first time I would not want to get out of bed, and I lost interest in the things that I like doing, right? Those are just like an example of my symptoms. And also then started messing with my self-esteem as well, because I'd be like, this is ridiculous. I don't know why I'm still alive. Like, it's just a waste of life, right? Or I'd be like, I don't want to dress a certain way anymore. Like, I literally just want to be in baggy clothes and Uggs the whole time. These are just like really, really small examples, but it's something that's bigger than that. To the point where if I got to the garage and my favorite pie is not there, I'd probably cry. And people will think that I'm being dramatic or I'm being crazy. It's not that. It's just the fact that there's so much boiling in me and I'm unable to express that. So the tiniest of things frustrate you. So even your moods will change. Like, sometimes you don't cry all the time. Sometimes you don't want to sleep all the time, but you're just really cranky. You're extremely frustrated. You're extremely on the edge. You're extremely upset all the time at any and everything. And you snap. You have moments where you just snap. Like, someone could literally be like, hi, and you're just like, you don't know my life, leave me alone. I always try to describe to people and even my family that you're constantly in a bad mood. It's a constant bad mood. And even when you're trying to get out of it, it just consumes you. So you're constantly in a bad mood. You feel like everyone is living, but you're at a standstill, and you always just feel like I feel like I want to throw up all the time, and I have a lump in my chest. I'm very heavy-hearted. You lose interest in completely everything, like everything. And you also feel yourself losing you. And that's also very scary and very frustrating. And you also get very frustrated at yourself because people think that you don't want to wake up or you're making excuses. You actually literally can't. You're unable to snap out of it at that point in time. So yeah, that's how I felt on a constant. And you also just always you always feel like you're a failure. Like, you always feel like a disappointment. Right? Because you're just like, wow, like, how am I being consumed by this? Why am I not able to live? Like, I'm not the first or the last person to lose a mom, like, such things. And you just, that little voice in your head becomes like your own worst enemy. Like, you literally at war with it every single day. Like, you're useless, you're this, you're that, you're that, you're this. Everything negative all the time. So when I got back to Kesa the second time, I think this was when I just spoke to myself and I was like, okay, no, we can't be here again. Clearly, we couldn't like there's a very serious problem. I just said to myself, okay, I've always been a very in control person of my life. But at this point, what is happening is, if I don't fix something, I'm going to find myself back at a Keso. And I don't want to be back at a Keso because that means I'm regressing in life. There's zero progress. I'm not ever believe. Oh, now, do you know what? Man can introspect. And I realized that the first thing, right, is that when I went through all of this, it was, you have depression, you have to take medication, you have to go to therapy. But I never got to deal with what was actually wrong with me. I never got to sit down and say, okay, this is what's happening. So finding out that I've got depression is one thing. Dealing with the fact that what made me depressed is another. And also accepting the fact that I've got depression and understanding what my depression looks like was something completely different. So I then started going to therapy. Like, such a small thing, just like a small thing. So I went to therapy twice a week at this point because it was bad in the country.
It's easier when you do have the funding. When you don't, that's where the tricky part comes in. But we are currently trying to speak to a therapist to come and give off of ixesha labo, sort of like a community service type of thing where we will place them at the center, SACDU, bafike banikezele about like 2-3 hours of their time without charging us. because I think they understand the plight of students. But I understand, bana imali ayiko, especially as the SRC, you want to do so much, but with so little resources. So I think if we reach out to psychologists, therapists out there to come and give off of their time, to give off of their time to students, then that would really assist.
There's a lot of things that I wish for, but there's one thing I definitely will never get back, and that's my mom. And I remember this one friend of mine asked, and he said, so let's say you do die, like what makes you think you're gonna see her? And I said, no, I've never wanted to kill myself with the intent of I'm gonna go to my mom. I don't know how the afterlife works. I don't know how that, I could come back an ant. But I said that as long as I'm not coming back to what I am feeling currently, I'll take anything. So what I would constantly just feel is that I will never get back my mom. And I felt like when she passed away, I lost my gravity, and everybody else expected me to remain balanced. And it goes even for my siblings and my family. We lost our gravity, and everybody else expected us to just continue this normal way when it felt like everything was crumbling. So in the process, I hurt a lot of people, right? Because I felt like people weren't understanding. I mean, it's not fun. I'm just like looking from a perspective of my siblings. Imagine like every day you're on edge because you don't know what your sister's gonna go through. You don't know if you're gonna get a phone call and say, actually, you know what, she did it this time and she actually was successful, she's passed away. You know, my family, my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, you know, like everybody. And especially my friends as well. So you hurt people in the sense that at that point, you don't care for your life. You don't want to live. You literally just like over it and you're at wit's end. But people who love you and people who know you and they have to watch you go through all of that and give up on yourself, it's really probably just like emotionally, like, you know, draining. So you hurt a lot of people in your process because people also don't understand what's happening with you. People get highly frustrated with you and you're frustrated with yourself as well because you also don't understand why you're going through what you're going through and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Even people are trying to be there for you. So trying to be there for someone who's depressed, we need to be very careful as to you're not God. So people have this sense that if I'm trying to be there for you as a friend, right, and you're not getting better or you're not accepting my help because of what you're going through, then it speaks to maybe the love that I'm giving to you. I want to make it a me thing. And whatever depression that someone's going through, don't ever make it a you thing. It doesn't speak to you.
Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
And I must say congratulations, ne?
Okay, thank you.
To the advances so far. With everything that you know, with the insight that you have, any commitment, any decision, to ensure you are going to stay in the path of well-being.
So when it comes to remaining on this journey of healing that I'm on, when it comes to actually continuing to make progress, is that I constantly remind myself when I'm about to have a bad day, when I feel myself relapsing, is that I did not make it this far just to go back again. I refuse, right? And I like this saying by some rapper, Tupac, I think. He says, if you can make it through your night, there's a brighter day. So it has to get dark before it gets bright again. So you have to just constantly remind yourself that in this darkness that I'm facing, it can never be positive. It can never be dark forever, like ever. And there's always, you need to enjoy the rain as well before the rainbow comes. You need to be able to say, you know what, I'm going through this, but it's not the end of me. You know how you know it's not the end of you? You're not dead yet. The only time it's over, the only time it's over for you is when you're dead. Until God, or whoever you believe in, takes that away from you, takes your life away from you, you're still living, you're still breathing. You have no excuse.
Absolutely. And honto e buileng ha ka re wa sheba o chinchile meaning ya bohloko ba hae. So bohloko ba hae peleng ne le taba gore a o khathaletse mme wa ka hae ke batla mme wa ka ke batla sena le sena. So hona je we are hearing a different narrative. And hona le ntho engwe we mention le ele gore e bohloko o itse go nkile nako gore o fihle mo eleng gore o amohetse gore moa ha o sa fitile. And ke ntho eleng gore bongata ba rona le batho ba bangata ba rata gore no go nkile nako gore ke fihlelle mo. Mara bonnete go gore ha gore nke nako gore fihlelle mo go go nka nako eo gore o nke qeto ya gore o amohele. So basically it took you that much time for you to make a decision or you know what, ke batla go fola, and as a result gore ke tsebe go fola, I must accept.
Yes.
Okay. So for wena honaje, from where you are and where you're coming from, rabona gore yes, like uchile gore you are not the same person, and you still have a few more steps still gore o tlamile o dinke gore o fitlhelle into a state of well-being. So the other thing e leng gore ke batla go etsetsa mohlala ka yona, particularly when it comes to grief, because grief has into e bonolo. So ke le wa bona ntho nna lona re ka utlwanang ka yona hona ke gore motho wa tswalwa then a fete. Right, tseba ewa ke.
Yes.
And there's nothing you and I can do about it.
At all.
Okay. So ke le wa bona ha motho a tswala go bana le letsatsi, go be le kgwedi, go be le selemo. And how ka sheba di date tseo tse two, in the middle usually ba beyeng a dash, a hyphen. Okay. So hona le ntho tse pedi tse le gore ke batla go di explain ka hyphen. So hyphen eo e tlhalosang gore o phetse tsatsi lona le o tswetseng ka lona wa feta letsatsi lona le o fitileng ka lona. And how ka re wa sheba hyphen eo ho sa kgathaletse gore o fitile mo lefaseng ka kgwedi e 1 kapa ka 100 years, hyphen e ntse le hyphen ntse e le nyane, ha ina di size tse different hobaneng, because to rona batho ba ileng gore motho o fitileng re moratile, life ya hae it still remains brief for us. And ntlha ya bobedi e ke batlang go ikenya go gore that hyphen again e bua ka bophelo ba hao. Le wena o na le hyphen ya hao, le nna ke na le yaka, le mme wa hao na na le ya hae. And a hyphen ya hao, if anybody wants to take responsibility ka bophelo ba hao, o ka senke responsibility if number one you don't take ownership.
That's always the first step.
Because if you don't take ownership, then o ka se kgone go nka responsibility. So if you are in the deep, at least take co-ownership. Because when you take ownership of your life, that's when you are exactly what you're saying. Most importantly, you provide that gravity.
Yes.
Because hanga ownership, ke for mang, ke for wena, and for your future. So it's everything that you're going to do with your hyphen. And wena ulin responsible for wena, nobody else. When you're going through pain, when you're going through anything, the first thing ko gore o tlamile o ke pay an identity which is independent ne from ntho ile gore yo go utlwisitse bohloko. Ke etse mohlala. So if for an example somebody o hlokafetse bophelong ba hao, wena ha wa hlokofala o hlokofalletswe.
Yes.
If o utlwisitse bohloko ha o bohloko o utlwisitse bohloko. So dintho tseo kaofela, they're just part and parcels of your hyphen, but they don't define wena, they don't give you an identity. Okay, and they also are determine gore o ya kae, unless if when you let them to determine gore di go ise kae. And the other point e ke batlang go e add go gore babu, none of us we can afford gore re dumelle hyphen kapa dash ya motho o mong e hafole hyphen ya rona kapa e hafole hyphen ya hao kapa e senye all together. Ho babuhi motho eleng gore she's right now or he's right now going through depression or grief or ha ikutlwe a le hantle kapa santse a nyahame, what would you like to say to them?
I would like to tell you that you're not alone. You're never alone, no matter what it feels like. And it's not over yet. It will get better. It does get better. Eventually it gets better. It may not happen overnight. It's a very long journey, but you will be okay.
Okay. Monalisa, ko go leboge ko go lakaletse mahlohonolo a maholo ho le letong la hao. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Monalisa o ithutile gore amohelo ya maemo ke yona ntho le gore e tla go fokoletsa leeto la hao la go hlonama le go ikaga ka hare go nka ownership ka maphelo a rona gore re se tsitsinyehe hakalo. Mona ke each one teach one, ke nna Pula wa Hamatsaong go fihlela re kopana hape beke e latelang. Dula leseding.
When I pray, I always say, I started praying like this now. I always say, I cannot change what has happened, but Lord, give me the strength to be able to accept it and allow it not to define me or break me. So that is what I would change. If I'd have to open up my brain now, I don't know if there are acceptance chemicals in my brain, like chemicals that just allow you to accept it and allow you to be able to then redefine yourself outside of that current situation or whatever situation that has happened. So I'd put acceptance chemicals in my brain.